All right, let's peel back the curtain on one of the world's most popular games because we need to talk about its surprisingly dark secret. It's a story that, believe it or not, starts with these cute, blocky avatars and ends with a full-blown criminal enterprise. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But for millions of young players on Roblox, this isn't fiction. This question is becoming a shocking and often pretty heartbreaking reality. Today, we're going to dive into how hackers turn this massive digital playground into their own personal empire. So, when you first look at Roblox, it's all sunshine and rainbows. You see this paradise of blocky characters and endless user-created adventures. But just beneath that playful surface, there's a huge problem brewing. And to really get it, we first have to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this digital universe. I mean, just think about that number for a second. 65 million people every single day. That's a bigger population than the entire country of Italy, all logging into play. For a whole generation of kids, Roblox is just normal. It's like what Saturday morning cartoons were for their parents. And you gotta understand, this is way more than just a game. It's a massive, booming economy. We're talking about a valuation that rivals some major corporations. So what's the engine that makes this whole thing run? Well, it all comes down to a single, really powerful virtual currency. See, every one of those digital pets, those rare swords or cool outfits, it all has a real-world price tag. And it's all powered by Robux. And with parents' credit cards often funding these shopping sprees, it's really no surprise that wherever there's money, even play money, thieves are never going to be too far behind. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this actually happen? Well, hackers have cooked up some really clever and frankly pretty cruel ways to steal directly from kids. The practice is so widespread that it even has its own slang term in the community. They call it beaming, and really it's just a high-tech form of pickpocketing. The targets, usually they're unsuspecting kids. And one of the most insidious ways they do it doesn't even involve cracking a password. No, it involves tricking a player into basically just handing over the keys to their own account. And this is how a few friendly messages can lead to absolute disaster. That little file, that HAR file, it contains something called a session token. You can think of it like a digital master key that grants access without needing a password. Roblox even puts a warning right there in the file saying, hey, don't share this. But the young victims just don't know any better. And the result? A complete account takeover in just a matter of minutes. I mean, just listen to that. The mindset is absolutely chilling. These hackers, or beamers, they actively hunt for vulnerable and trusting kids. They use flattery and pretend to be friends just to get them to lower their guard. They'll say stuff like, oh my gosh, your avatar is so cute, I can duplicate it for you, just to gain their trust. So the big question is, what happens after an account gets beamed? Yeah, those stolen items don't just disappear into thin air. Nope, they immediately get funneled into this sprawling, surprisingly sophisticated black market that's operating just out of sight. And this is how a child's prized digital pet gets turned into a criminal's real-world profit. What you have here is a complete parallel economy. So while kids are busy in the game trading virtual dragons, criminals are fencing entire accounts on forums and in private Telegram groups. And they aren't using Robux. They're sealing the deal with cryptocurrency and PayPal. And don't think for a second that this is just petty theft. This is big business. A simple admin of one of these underground markets actually boasted about processing over $20,000 a month. Some accounts can sell for upwards of $1,000. But as crazy as that sounds, criminals soon figured out an even more powerful way to exploit the platform. Okay, and this is where the story really escalates. We're moving beyond digital pickpocketing of children and into the world of organized financial crime, the kind of stuff that has now caught the attention of federal investigators. This little four-step process is just devastatingly effective. It transforms illegal money from, say, the dark web into a clean, legitimate paycheck from a multi-billion-dollar company. It got so bad that in one court filing, Roblox itself admitted that it suspected at least 311 accounts were involved in this exact scheme. And when you break it down, you can see exactly why organized crime was so drawn to what looks like an innocent kid's game. Unlike something like Bitcoin, Robux have a stable, predictable value. The whole operation is hidden behind a young user base. And let's be honest, until recently, financial regulators weren't exactly looking closely at transactions inside a game about virtual theme parks. It was the perfect blind spot. So beyond all the financial schemes and the complex economics, we can't lose sight of who's really caught in the middle of this. We're talking about children. For them, this is so much more than just a game. It's a huge part of their identity. The emotional fallout for these young kids is just devastating. Some of these hackers will actually record the aftermath. They'll get on a voice chat with the crying child on Discord, mock them, and then post the videos online for laughs. The cruelty is almost unimaginable. And this creates this really disturbing cycle. Some of these kids, after being scammed, they feel completely powerless. Or maybe they're just vengeful. So they start lurking in these hacker forums, looking for a way to get their stuff back. Or maybe just to feel in control again. And in this way, the platform can actually become a breeding ground, where today's victim becomes tomorrow's hacker. Now, in response to this huge crisis, Roblox is fighting back. Of course they are, but this has sparked a constant, escalating technological arms race. It's the platform's security team versus the criminals who are determined to exploit it. And for every single security measure Roblox puts in place, you can bet the criminals are already working on a way around it. The company has rolled out new features like pin-locked trading and making those session tokens expire faster, but the scams just evolved to bypass them. It's a constant battle. This leaves parents on a really strange and difficult new battlefield. I mean, how do you even begin to explain operational security and phishing traps to an 8-year-old? The classic stranger danger talk now has to cover the fact that a cute avatar offering you free virtual items might actually be a scammer in disguise. So as the lines keep blurring between what is a children's game and what is a criminal underworld, we're left with this one final, pretty unsettling question. In a virtual city of 65 million people, who is truly in control? The developers who built it, or the criminals who have learned to thrive in its shadows?